Hey, listen, the Denver Broncos taking on a Chiefs team coming off a bye. I mean, what is the most repeated aspect? Once upon a time, it used to be Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. What's the most repeated stat that you hear or fact that you hear in the NFL? Andy Reid coming off a bye.
Coming off a bye, Andy Reid. Oh, man.
I'll tell that to do the Denver Broncos, who took care of business yesterday. They wound up winning again. They wound up coming back again. They have now 9 wins on the season, 8 of them in a row, and 5 of them on that win streak have involved a fourth quarter in which they took at least one snap trailing. At least one snap. They were down in the fourth quarter in 5 of the wins. Unbelievable. They keep doing it. They were down by 14 in week 5 against the Eagles. They were down by 1 against the Jets in London. They were down by 19 against the Giants in week 7. Those are 3 weeks in a row they did it. Then in week 9, they were down by 8 against the Texans and then down by 3 at one point in the fourth quarter yesterday. And Bo Nix led a game-winning drive. Their 8 straight wins is the longest Broncos win streak within a season since winning 11 straight in Peyton Manning's first season with the Broncos in 2012. It's the 5th longest win streak within a season in the history of the Denver Broncos. They've now won 11 straight at home dating back to week 8 last year. That's the longest winning streak in the NFL at home at present. And their win streak overall is tied with the Patriots for the longest active one at 8. But, of course, it's against whom they won their 8th in a row that we're all talking about, because this is the division the Chiefs have won 9 straight times. And the Chiefs are now at 5-5. We'll get to them in a second. But the Broncos did what they had to do. And everybody on that bandwagon in the middle of the season that was on this bandwagon back in the summer, the middle of the summer, is feeling really good about themselves because the Broncos are making them look smart. And the number of, again, comeback, come from behind wins, and how sometimes they struggle on offense in the beginning and they struggle on offense throughout and only come alive in the fourth quarter. And yeah, this, but candies and nuts. Well, there's one metric. It's the win column, 9 of them. And that's all Sean Payton wanted to talk about when asked about his quarterback's performance after the game.
Bo, especially on that last drive at the one to Sutton. And then
it's outstanding.
How did he perform tonight, kind of in a big
I
moment?
think real well. He won. That's his job. He won.
Okay.
It's his job. 5th game-winning drive of the season. Only trails John Elway for the most game-winning drives in a season in the history of the Denver Broncos, and he's one behind the 85 version of Elway. If I'm not mistaken, that was his 2nd year. And guess who's in his 2nd year? Bo Nix. And you could sit here and say, oh, it's the defense, this, that, the other thing. And the Broncos did sack Mahomes 3 times, but that's only the 4th game that Denver's had 3 or fewer sacks in a game this year. And the quarterback pressure rate of Mahomes was 28.6%. That's the 2nd lowest quarterback pressure rate by the Broncos in a game this year. Thank you, Next Gen Stats, for making an old Gen Stat guy look smart and young. I do feel that way, despite not getting a lot of sleep. But the bottom line is the Broncos have won. Bo Nix had this to say after the game.
They were, at the top, and if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And if you're, some say if you're scared, go to church. But I think it's good to, if you're going to play this sport, if you're going to play this game for too long, you can't really be intimidated, or there's really no sense in going out there. If you don't believe you're going to win and eventually get to the top, then I feel like you just waste so much time, throughout the week. But we work hard, and we've put together a great team to win games like tonight, and, it paid off.
Again, we don't talk religion around here, but Bo, if he winds up in church next Sunday, it's not because he's scared. It's because he's off or on a bye. He has the opportunity to do whatever he wants to do next Sunday as a 9-win quarterback this year, while New England visits Cincinnati. They're moving on to Cincinnati. Go figure that. And the Chiefs now head home to take on the Indianapolis Colts. So the Broncos have a defense that can beat you, an offense that can rise up to beat you. That's a dangerous combination. The only losses the Broncos have had this year have been with no time left on the clock, when the Colts and the Chargers beat them on last-second field goals. So there's all of that. And they come off the bye visiting Washington, which looks terrible, despite having their best game in a month and a half, losing to the Dolphins in Madrid. Then they visit Vegas before Green Bay. And then there's Jacksonville in Denver before the Chiefs welcome in the Broncos on Christmas on Netflix in a last game against the Chargers for the Broncos. The problem for the Chiefs is even if they're rooting for Jacksonville to beat Denver to help them win the division, they've got a Jacksonville problem. And that's the point about the Chiefs at present. 5-5. Mahomes has never been 500 this late in a season as a professional quarterback. The Kansas City Chiefs have lost to all three current occupants of a wild card spot. That's a problem, especially when two of them are out of the division. The Chargers in the 6th seed, the Chiefs do see them one more time in Arrowhead. And that game, let me get this right, for Kansas City is Week 15. The problem is they don't see the Bills or the Jaguars again. The Jaguars did the Chiefs a favor, I guess, by beating the the Chargers, and they beat them up real well. Mm-hmm. I mean, they tenderized them, and they put Trey Lance in the game because Jim had enough of his quarterback getting hit. Yep. And in the same way, I'll give you an analogy that might give you an idea of just how problematic the Chiefs situation is entering Week 12. If you're out there and you're in multiple fantasy leagues, how many times does a result help you and hurt you at the same time? Oh, this guy just scored. That helps me, but I'm going against him in another league.
That's why it stinks doing multiple leagues.
Exactly. The problem for the Chiefs is a result like yesterday. Hey, Chargers lose. That's great. Problem is the Jaguars win. And the Jaguars have already beaten the Chiefs on that Monday night back in Week 5, I believe. That's correct. So they've got tiebreak problems as a wild card, which is kind of crazy. We're even talking wild card because this team's won 9 straight AFC West championships. And that chase may just be gone because the Broncos have 9 wins and the Chiefs have 5 with 7 games to go. And if they sweep all 7 games, that means the Broncos are going to have to lose more than they win the rest of the way. They're going to have to suddenly turn into a 500 team, and they don't have a defense to turn into a 500 team. Certainly if Surtain's going to come back after the bye. All of these wins have come with Surtain out for Denver. And then the ultimate issue for the Chiefs is they are not coming up with the moments in the tight games when the football crucible is at its most intense. This is when the team has been able to focus and execute better than you because they've been there and they've done that, and their roster is filled with those types of players, with a coaching staff that is chock full of rings and history in those moments to beat you because you're not as good at it and you're not as experienced at it, which is why they were 12-0 in one-score games last year. This year, in one-score games, they're 0-5. Every single one of their losses have been one-score game losses, and they didn't have a single instance of it last year. And next up for them are the 8-2 Colts coming off of a bye before they visit Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. And Houston, we assume, will have C.J. Stroud back on that Sunday night. And then they have the Chargers in their house before they visit Tennessee. And that game against Denver, they're going to have to hope against hope that Denver does lose a couple of times between now and Christmas, and then they beat Denver on Christmas Day, and they basically don't lose another game and have a shot on Christmas Day to flip the tables before welcoming in Vegas to finish up the season, or rather visit Las Vegas, which is not a problem for them. Just ask the confetti they're still picking out of their hair from that building 2 years ago. But that team's got to show up. When's it going to show up? Patrick Mahomes had this to say after the loss.
Yeah, I mean, you got to let it. I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like you got to feel that, but you got to be able to kind of use that energy to push it into the next week, into the rest of the season. And all you can focus on is the next game. You get another opportunity to go out there and prove yourself. And obviously, we've been losing these close games recently, but we've played some good football in spurts. It's just about being more consistent. And until we go out there and do it, all you can do is just keep saying you got to keep practicing and getting better and better, and push yourself to go out there and do it on game day.
Let's be honest. If Brett Veach could go back in his on a hot tub time machine, could go back in the football DeLorean, would he give the Jets whatever they asked for Breece Hall?
Yep, absolutely, 1,000%.
And if Rashee Rice can start to maybe get his sea legs a little bit under him, I don't know. The first two games look pretty good with him coming back. I'll tell you this, and this is why I still haven't given up, because there's still the Chiefs, man. There's still the Chiefs. Unless you put that's the stake through their heart, I don't want to hear about it. And I still believe that they're going to have an opportunity to show up maybe in someone else's building on Wild Card Weekend for the first time.
And 5-5, they're limping pretty good. They're bleeding. They're kind of like the bad guy who's just needs one more kill shot.
I know that. Or there's somebody cornered, and we're gonna see the Chiefs of old suddenly show up, because it's still there. I bet if I told you going into the season they're going to be 5-5 after Week 11, losing in Denver, you'd say, well, Kelsey's got to hang him up. Dude, 91 yards and a score.
He's looked pretty good. Season
high 9 catches. The old school Kelsey's out there, man, as he passed Priest Holmes for most touchdowns scored in Chiefs history yesterday. It's not him. It would help to just get the run game. If they had a 100-yard rusher, do you know how much that would help? Defense, it's coming down to it. And the other team's making more plays than them, and it's got to be mystifying to them. What is it? Is it one thing that's fixable? Or as Mahomes just said, practice harder, keep your nose to the grindstone, and it will all work out. That's the only way you can go about it. I know it drives fans crazy when analysts come on and say, just coach better, play better. What does that mean? It's got to be something you could just put your finger on and fix. I don't know. I just still think they have the right people in that room. And, boys, Chiefs hosting the Colts, just a massive football game. Oof. Certainly, if the Colts want to keep pace with the Patriots and Broncos, words that I didn't think I would be saying into a microphone on a Week 11 Monday in 2025, but it's the truth. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.